Hello.
Here we are. Sports Sunday complete. Now football season complete for another season. Adam Wexler, Laney Fritz here with you in our studios here at KPRC Channel 2. Randy was out in Atlanta. He's got to spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hit the red carpet, hit the game today, and all of that for 16 points.
I was going to say, I think all that stuff leading up to it probably was more exciting than the actual game. The first three quarters were just brutal. And everybody keeps saying it was this defensive battle, and if you appreciate good defense, you would enjoy the game. But kind of, because I appreciate good defense, but it wasn't like exciting defense.
Right.
It was just, nobody could get first downs. Nobody could get a touchdown.
We mentioned it during the show. Didn't think Jared Goff looked sharp. Didn't think Tom Brady looked sharp. We're going to get into all that stuff more here. But since we didn't get into it on Sports Sunday, what everybody's much more excited about normally, the commercials, which seem to match the game. The best commercial came at halftime. The NFL 100 commercial.
I was going to say, none of the commercials really stuck out to me because we're working while we're watching the game, and during the commercial breaks I could overhear it while I'm typing and editing, and none of them stuck out to me. A halftime performance, I did not see that, but I'm hearing bad things about that too. What do you guys think? Did you like halftime?
So obviously Maroon 5 got it all started. Travis Scott came out for one song, and Big Boy was out there as well.
I saw
and
that, yeah.
SpongeBob made an appearance too.
Oh, I didn't see the SpongeBob. I saw like a flash of Adam Levine, I guess.
Well, he
People
managed.
were making fun of his dancing.
Well, he managed to go. He was fully clothed at the beginning.
Okay.
And then he had his guitar out there. I think he took one article off when he was there with Travis Scott, and by the end, you could see his nice California tattoo across his chest
so he was
because
stripping. Good.
It's
Okay.
what it looked like.
That's
at
what
least
happened
part
at
of it.
Super Bowl halftime,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean,
And some people pay attention and some people don't. There was a Hyundai commercial with Jason Bateman as an elevator attendant. That one seemed to get pretty good reviews. But like I said, I watched the game, kind of watched the Super Bowl. But I was definitely paying attention to the commercials.
I looked up and kept seeing that it was 3-3 and went on with my life, yeah.
We had some Texans fans note about that NFL commercial that had all these greats in it. A lot of the current day players, Todd Gurley kind of got knocked because he was in it, and at that point in the game, that was his best run of the game in the commercial. But no J.J. Watt, no Deshaun Watson, no DeAndre Hopkins with an appearance in that commercial. So some people are like, hey.
Even though they were all there this week in Atlanta for reasons.
I think they help put the Texans on the map. Like you said,
Right.
they were there all week.
Yeah.
So they were on all the networks. They were on doing all their interviews. And as we see how in April the schedule will come out, they're going to get primetime dates again, mainly because of those three people.
Yep, those are their three that bring out the crowd. So and now the Texans are already thinking, those three, as we mentioned, were just in Atlanta having fun, and now they're probably looking ahead, I want to be here next year. That probably puts that taste in their mouth even more, being at that game.
Like, we could have won this, or we could have done something
they're probably
there.
thinking, Sean Watson's probably like, hey, I could have scored.
We know the Saints fans were saying that because of what their offense normally brings, and a lot of people were talking about that. Some people, Richard says, I watched a WWE event called Halftime Heat during the halftime show, so instead, Brenda says, good game, both teams were good, and that's, there's a reason why teams don't look in. We mentioned it on the show. Jared Goff sacked 4 times, hit 12 times. I didn't think he looked very good even before the pressure came to him. But by the same token, Brady was only hit a few times, technically sacked just once. But that was, you mentioned it on the show, that was his least productive, least effective Super Bowl performance in years.
And you did notice, Brady was under pressure a lot of the game. But what I was most impressed with was the New England defense. If there was anything that really shined to me in this game, it was them, especially a defense that was doubted so much to start this season. And if you don't remember, that was the same defense that the Miami Miracle happened on.
Well, Rob Gronkowski was part of that defense, unfortunately.
They should never do that again, but he's much better on the other side. But anyway, that was it was really good to see that defense because they were so when you're on a team with Tom Brady, everyone's always going to think you're going to be great because of Tom Brady, but the defense really didn't get any respect, and so it was nice to see them play really well.
A 0 touchdown performance from Tom Brady, less than 300 yards. The last 2 Super Bowls combined, and they've been in it 3 years straight. He almost had 1,000 yards passing in the 2 previous Super Bowls, obviously coming off that loss to Philadelphia, but he didn't have to. Belichick said after the game they moved the ball okay, but they couldn't get the ball into the red zone. Neither team ran a play in the red zone until the touchdown that the Patriots scored. Yep.
Until the Gronk catch.
That was it.
Well, that's so crazy. That's the thing. The 3 quarters of brutal offense.
Definitely right, though, to credit what the game plan was from the Belichick, to a certain extent, led defense. But again, Brian Flores, the de facto defensive coordinator, now can finally take his new job and become the head coach and leave the Patriots. Same thing with Zach Taylor on the Rams side. He'll become the head coach for the Bengals. But the highest scoring team in the NFC did not find the end zone, scored 3 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, what the Patriots defense did definitely had Goff confused out there.
No question. Best quarterback in the NFL in history, says Houston De La Rosa.
Yep.
Several people on here, I'll go without names, are not real happy that the Patriots won again.
Yeah, I think that's most of America right now.
Well, when you win a lot, people tend to turn on you.
Yeah.
Or just not like you.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see somebody making history and that kind of thing, but I think it's also great to see a lot of people are, rooting for the underdogs, and I think obviously the Rams were that because of their fan base, which we talked about, was not even there.
Right.
Do they have a fan base right now?
The Super Bowl here, the Patriots, I felt, took over. We know even with Philadelphia last year, I think they were outnumbered. This one was so one-sided in terms of who we saw there. We saw a lot of the video that was sent back by Alex and Randy that, the fans were everywhere around the NFL Experience, around Radio Row, and even today some of the stuff that came in. There are Patriots jerseys everywhere.
I wonder if the Rams fan base will grow from an appearance in the Super Bowl, hopefully. Maybe some LA people will start to latch on to this team. You're getting to know that's a good thing about the exposure, like you talked about with the Super Bowl. You get to know these players more, and hopefully their fan base will grow.
Yeah, Goff, the fastest number 1 overall pick to reach a Super Bowl. It was only his 3rd season. Something I mentioned earlier in the week. Goff, number 1 overall pick, gets to the Super Bowl in his 3rd season. Deshaun Watson enters his 3rd season next year. And if you caught the very end of the show, I did see the odds for next year's Super Bowl. The Patriots and Rams are co-favorites, and the Texans have 14 teams ahead of them with better odds to reach next year's Super Bowl.
Are the Chiefs near the top of that?
The Chiefs were right after the Patriots and Rams.
Because I was like, that's who I wish would have made it there.
And I wonder if the money will change it like it did in the Super Bowl or in the week ago. Money will change where the odds go. But, we saw what the Chiefs can do. Yeah. They barely lost. They put up a better fight, most people will say, than the Rams did today. The other parts of the show, trade deadline comes up this week. Rockets have 2 more games on the road.
A lot of craziness going on.
One thing we didn't talk about, the NBA's All-Star Game has that different format this year. Thursday night, they get to hold a draft.
And we get to see it this time. Because last year, that was the first year that they did that draft, which I thought was really fun and brilliant. It makes it more fun for the players anyway. And then this year, we're going to actually see it. It'll be televised. And I've heard a lot of talk about this is also the time where the guys can kind of lobby for the guys that they want. So LeBron's going to be doing that.
Well, LeBron is a captain, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is the other captain, and you can pick players from whichever conference you want. Anthony Davis is an all-star reserve. All the starters get picked first. So we don't have to worry about LeBron making sure he gets Anthony Davis just yet. But as soon as they get to that portion of the draft, it'll be interesting to see how that falls. But obviously, it'll be a whole lot of fun games in Charlotte. The Astros, we mentioned, this is their last week before they have to report. Today's the 3rd, so there's 10 days until pitchers and catchers report. We saw part 2 of Have Some Lunch with Randy McIlvoy, Table for Two with A.J. Hinch. Good stuff from A.J. about just being here in this city.
Well, also tomorrow, I don't know if you're going to this, I've been meaning to ask you, the media softball game. So we got a report tomorrow.
So they have the media softball game at Minute Maid Park each year. It was supposed to be in November. They rescheduled it for Monday, and I always like to play. I committed to going to see the Jackie Robinson story to chaperone my son's class, so I'll have to
that'll
miss.
Be fun. Okay,
but it will be fun, and I'll probably have to tell you something about that. But we're going to get a report about Laney on the diamond tomorrow.
Yeah, I played in it 2 years ago. But there's so many people who play that you get like one at-bat the entire game.
Because it's so fun. Everyone wants to go out there.
It's very fun. So we'll have to show you guys some, follow us on social media, and I'll show you some fun stuff about that media game. See all your TV personalities out there making a fool of themselves. So it'll be fun.
So appreciate you joining us here on Facebook Live. Hopefully we got to a couple of your comments. Do it every week after the show. And obviously follow each of us and all of our cohorts on social media all throughout the week. And we will talk to you again soon.
Yes. Good night, guys.